So Chelsea Handler, I'm not a big fan. I'm not really a fan at all. But she put out a sketch, a comedy sketch about what a day was like in the life of a childless woman. And it was full of like ridiculous hyperbole, like you build a time machine and you go back and kill Hitler. Like it was very over the top comedic. But for some reason, a bunch of right wingers got ultra, dodeca, mega, super, unbelievably triggered to like such an insane degree. I can't even believe how triggered they were by it. So here's her post the video. It's only a minute long. It's just another day, and she's showing the Daily Show clip where she's day in the life of a childless woman, full of like insane comedic exaggeration, and honestly pretty funny. So here's some responses. Can you use the time machine to go forward to your deathbed when you die alone with no one around you? I mean, like, so many weird things about this. First of all, the idea that the quality of your life is measured by how many people are gathered around your deathbed. Pretty weird. You don't even know if you're going to get a deathbed. You might get run over by a bus. You might die of a sudden heart attack. You might fall down an escalator. Like any number of crazy things could happen to you that don't involve you having a deathbed. And also the idea that people who don't have kids never have any loved ones whatsoever that might care enough about them to be at their deathbed. Only children could possibly care that much, right? Seems a little strange. So on two levels, really dumb. Godsod, who I've actually talked to before. I talked to this guy a couple times on the Drunken Peasants back in the day. He says, being a parent can be difficult and painful, but I would not trade being a father to my children for anything. My daughter just gave me a box of chocolate and flowers for Valentine's. I'm the richest man for it. Also retweeted. I really don't have too much of an objection to this. Like you having your own personal feelings about your kids and feeling like, wow, this really did something for my life. I really don't mind that at all. If that's how you feel, good for you. I'm glad you found something in life that gave you purpose and meaning. But like, for a lot of us, not interested, man. And like, why is that such a big deal? Like, if we're really missing out on so much, like, shouldn't the reaction towards us childless people just be like, oh, you poor unlucky bastards don't know what you're missing. Oh, well, it's your choice. And just like go on about your great child having life and, just be like, oh, you suckers that ain't having kids. Oh, you're really missing out on a grand old time. And then, but you're never like that. It's always this vitriolic, like, how dare you? And it really comes across to me like you guys don't like having kids. You really regret it on so many levels. And that's why you're very protective of the social pressure to do it and the social exaltation you get for doing it. Because, it seems like that's really the only benefit in your mind. It seems like you don't actually care about your kids as much as you care about your identity as parents. But that would be identity politics, wouldn't it? You wouldn't engage in that sort of thing, I'm sure. But like I said, Godsod's not too bad on that one. I mean, I've seen him say some other that's really dumb, but that didn't really bother me too much because he didn't really focus so much on like Chelsea Handler is bad. He was just like, I actually have, very rewarding, whatever. My relationship with my kids is very rewarding. Good for him. This is the saddest thing I've seen. And also a reason for every young woman not to repeat your horrendous existence. I mean, if you watch her video, like the existence that she portrays, first of all, meant to be taken comedically, like clearly full of like over the top exaggeration and just like ridiculous, humor. And this guy watching it getting so fuming angry that he's like, your horrendous existence, you nightmare demon, burn in hell, witch. It's like, why are you so upset? Once again, it comes across like you really don't like your kids all that much. And this is cope, right? It kind of, am I wrong about that? It kind of comes across like cope, huh? Sorry to break it to you anti-child folks that you missed out on the greatest experience life has to offer. Yeah, it's cliche, but you'll never know, will you? Even if I were a poet, I could not explain the feeling of seeing your own child for the first time in the delivery room. You know what, Michael Gibson? I'm glad that you have that, buddy. I'm like really rooting for you. I'm glad that you got that in your life. I don't really understand why someone who has this, like, let me ask you this. You watch a movie or something where someone attains enlightenment, or maybe you know someone that attains enlightenment. I don't know. Maybe you got that in your circle. let me meet him or her. But, you know, someone attains enlightenment. Oh, wow, I understand the ultimate truth of life. I see what it's all about. How often does the person who attains that turn around to all the people that don't have that, be like, how you don't even have the meaning of life, stupid. You don't even get it like I do. I understand, and you don't understand anything. You're dumb. Like, does that really seem like the actions of an enlightened person? To go and like rub how great everything is for them because they made this choice in other people's faces. You know, like, how dare you enjoy the opposite choice from me? How dare you, a different individual, feel differently about this thing than I do? It's like, it kind of reads, once again, not trying to step on any toes here, but it kind of reads to me like you're not actually all that satisfied with your decision. Yes, you're really living your best life, aren't you? Just to be clear, because it apparently needs to be said by parents, I wouldn't trade 10,000 of your supposedly carefree childless days in Paris and sleeping in until noon for one smile from my baby girl. Well, then you're just a moron. Like, I mean, honestly, like, you're an idiot at that point. Like, the idea that, I mean, 10,000 completely carefree days in Paris, sleeping until noon, or a single smile. Like, the kid's just like, and that's it. That's all you get. And then what? You're cast into like eternal darkness or something? It's your choice. 10,000 carefree days of awesomeness, or one stupid little, I mean, it's a cute sentiment, but get real, my man. You ain't being legit. You forgot the part where you cry yourself to sleep alone at night. She's too in love with herself to love anyone else. Just another day of not being funny. So mad. Why are they so upset, bro? All right. Carl Benjamin, my old buddy, Carl Benjamin. The framing of this is very interesting as it centers having a family as a lodestone of human existence. Waking up at 6 a.m. and remembering you don't have kids implies that subconsciously you think/dream you do. Everything after that is a sad fantasy to cope with loneliness. Or alternative read on why she wakes up at 6 a.m., realizes she doesn't have kids, and goes back to sleep. Maybe it's one of those, like, I don't know, joke things. Maybe it's one of those things where people do comedic exaggerations, you know, in the hopes of eliciting a humor response from somebody. But I guess that's not in the deck of cards anymore. That's no longer in the Carl Benjamin deck. Everything has to be like, I mean, what did you think when she started getting into stuff like, then I went time traveling and murdered Hitler? I guess you probably cried, right? Okay. Never mind. I know what you did. The best thing about this video, this is Ben Shapiro, by the way. The best thing about this video is that it features her explaining that she can do whatever she wants as a person with no kids. And so she names a bunch of stuff she didn't do because her actual life consists of drinking a load of wine and being really, really sad. I think her actual life actually consists of, you know, being like a famous actress and comedian that makes a bunch of money and probably does have a pretty interesting life. But no, yeah, sure, why not? Also, another guy that just refuses to acknowledge, like, oh yeah, well, she claims to make this video that she's going to show her life without kids, but then there's a bunch of comedic exaggerations. Why would that be? A lot of people would say maybe Ben, it's because it's a comedy show, but I don't buy it. I have an alternative explanation. My explanation is she's a bitter old hag and she hates life. Okay, Benny boy. Sure. You do you, boo. Oh, Matt Walsh, too, man. It's all of them. I don't know what she did in this skit to trigger every single right-winger of note, but she did it. I mean, I don't know. I gotta take my hat off, guys. You know what? I didn't think it would ever happen, but I'm kind of a Chelsea Handler fan now. I don't care that she didn't know that the sun and the moon were different things until she was 86 years old. I don't care anymore. The fact that she was able to trigger every single right-winger on earth with the most innocuous, silly comedy sketch you've ever seen that literally should have offended no one. It should have been the most innocuous, inoffensive comedy sketch you've ever seen, and somehow she's got every right-winger with a pulse seething. I don't know how she did it. Nothing more, this is Matt Walsh, nothing more pathetic than coping done by a childless woman pushing 50. She could have had kids and still be doing basically whatever she wants with her life today. Kids aren't toddlers forever. She could have had her freedom and a family. Instead, she'll die alone. Hey, Matt Walsh, guess what, bud? I don't know if you know this. We all die alone. I'm going to repeat that for you, buddy. We get even bigger on the screen. Matt Walsh, we all die alone. Oh, I guess one wasn't enough for him. He had to opine again. Chelsea Handler says it's okay to be childless by choice. It is. Apparently, she did a whole Daily Show episode on being childless by choice. I never thought they'd find a host less funny than Trevor Noah, but here we are. I didn't watch her whole episode. I watched that one skit. And, you know, honestly, in and of itself, I probably wouldn't be too impressed. But, like, the fact that you guys hate it so fucking much has kind of made me love it. Matt Walsh cannot get over this. He's got multiple tweets. Chelsea Handler wants you to know that she's really happy being a childless 47-year-old. Like, seriously happy. She's super happy, you guys, okay? Nobody say she's sad. She's not. Definitely not. I don't think she is. I mean, I get that you guys are trying to do this like, she pretends she's happy with this decision, but really she's sad. I think you're projecting on that one. I think that this is like massive cope and projection. I think you guys are sad that you saddled yourself up with kids, and now that someone is going out around being like, you know, you don't have to have kids to be happy. You're like, what? You told me too late that if I have to suffer, all will suffer. That's a more accurate read of the situation, I think. Jesus Christ, Matt, get over it, bud. This many tweets, you had to make sure, you had to disagree with, okay, well, I guess he was responding to someone at this time at least. Okay. So someone said to Matt, and I guess Ben Shapiro, the first thing she talks about is having an excuse to sleep the majority of the day away. Why? It's so great. Be awake to not miss a moment, right? I'm pretty sure most human beings need roughly the same amount of sleep, regardless of when they do it. Also, love the highlights of taking photos on vacation by herself so she can reminisce with herself later. Yeah, why not? Also, it was a joke, but even if that was meant to be taken literally, yeah, why not? You can't reminisce about something you did on your own? Why not? No childless person can really appreciate sleeping in any way. You can't know the joy of not having to wake up with a crying baby until you've had to wake up with a crying baby. Yeah, you don't understand what good sleep is until you've had night upon night of torturous half sleep. Okay, sure. Yeah, and by the way, you also can't enjoy the taste of a piping hot lasagna unless you've also experienced the taste of cat smeared with dog boogers, okay? This is a catch-22 of life. Only the people who've done a thing can enjoy not doing that thing. I beg to differ. I think that I mean, Matt, let me ask you this. Have you ever had molten lava poured on your face? No? Well, how do you know you don't like it until you tried it? Come on. Wow, 4 tweets about this, huh, Matt? Probably more on your Twitter. This is just the sampling that I could find here. Jesus. Jeepers Peepers. Where'd you get those peepers? Wait, Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? That's how it goes. Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? The amazing